I didn't mean to overhear that night, but sometimes fate shoves you into truths you'd rather not face. It was nearing midnight when I got back from the store, clutching a bag with a bottle of cheap wine and a couple of frozen meals, the kind that scream, a marriage is barely holding on. As I stepped through the door, her voice hit me low and edged with anger. I can't stand being with him, Sarah. I feel caged. He's like a ghost. I can't escape. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. Those words sliced through me like a blade. I wasn't meant to hear them, but I did. And in that moment, everything clicked into place. Marriage starts like a dream. Passionate promises, late-night whispers, and shared laughter over nothing. Then it morphs into mundane routines, quiet drives, and noticing how they turn away from you in sleep. I met Claire when we were both in our early 20s, wild and full of dreams just out of reach. Her eyes used to light up like I was her entire world. I lived for that spark, but over time it faded. Maybe it eroded. She grew distant, and I became predictable. I worked my desk job, came home, and tried to be what she needed. But it was never enough. Standing there in the dark hallway, hearing her confess she despised being with me, it felt like my heart was being crushed in a vice. I could have stormed in, demanded answers, or pleaded for clarity, but I didn't. Instead, I crept upstairs, threw some clothes into a duffel, and slipped out. No note, no confrontation. She wanted freedom. Gave it to her. I drove to a rundown motel on the edge of town, the kind with peeling paint and a faint stench of despair. Sitting on the lumpy bed, staring at the garish wallpaper, I wondered how long she'd felt this way. How long had I been just a shadow haunting her life? The next morning, my phone lit up with her calls, texts, and voicemails. We need to talk. Please come back. It was almost laughable. The woman who couldn't bear my presence suddenly panicked when I vanished. I let her sit with it, let her taste what it felt like to lose someone who'd always been there. 2 days later, she showed up at the motel. When I opened the door, she looked like a wreck. Eyes sunken, hair tangled, voice shaky. "Why did you go?" she whispered. I gave a hollow laugh. "Do you really need me to spell it out?" She swallowed hard. "Weren't supposed to hear that?" So that was her issue? Not that she'd said it, but that I'd caught her. Something inside me broke. I stepped aside, letting her in. She stood there, refusing to sit. "Was it true?" I asked. Her pause lasted a beat too long, and that silence said it all. For once, Claire, always quick with words, had nothing. She fumbled. For an excuse, something to keep me tethered. But I was already gone. Not just from the motel, but from her. Emotionally, I checked out the second her. I was upset. She finally mumbled, frustrated. "I didn't mean it like that." I shook my head. "You don't say something like that unless it's real." Tears welled in her eyes. "I love you," but I cut her off. I don't need the but. I know how this story ends." She broke down then, sobbing, but I didn't reach for her. For years, I'd been the one aching, questioning if I was enough. Now it was her turn to face the emptiness of a life without me. I never went back. The divorce was ugly, but my recovery wasn't. Somewhere along the way, I learned the truth. Leaving wasn't the challenge. Staying was staying in a place where I was unwanted in a love that had crumbled to ash. Claire tried reaching out a few times, hoping to reignite what had long since died. But I'd found something better. Peace. And eventually someone whose gaze made me feel like I carried the stars.